That silent night, the car slowly stopped in front of the cemetery. The man inside was not a stranger. He was one of the most feared cangaceiros in the northeast of Brazil, Jararaca. Wounded, exhausted, and already feeling death approaching, he looked around and sensed something strange. Then, in a heavy voice, he said to the soldiers, "We weren't going to Natal. I knew you were bringing me here." When his eyes met the open grave, he understood everything, and he spoke the words that would echo through the history of the Cangaço. "You want to kill me?" That night, Jararaca'S fate was sealed, and there, between fear and the inevitability of death, the final moments of a cangaceiro came to an end. At that moment, one of the darkest episodes in the history of the Brazilian Cangaço was beginning. In the northeastern backlands, where the land is dry and history is marked by blood and courage, one of the strangest and most impressive stories of the Cangaço was born. A man who lived as a cangaceiro, fought alongside Lampião, was captured, executed without trial, and buried as a criminal. This is the story of José Leite de Santana, the man the backlands came to know as Jararaca. José Leite de Santana was born on May 5, 1901, in the city of Bique, in the backlands of Pernambuco, Brazil. He was the son of Francelino Leite de Santana. Drought devastated the land. Hunger was constant, and violence was part of everyday life for those who grew up in that place. Like many young men of the backlands, José Leite dreamed of escaping that reality, and for a while he succeeded. Still young, he enlisted in the Brazilian army. He wore the uniform, learned discipline, and lived for a time far from the harsh life of the backlands. But that path would not last forever. A few years later, he would leave military life and make a decision that would completely change his destiny. He joined the Cangaço. In the 1920s, the Cangaço dominated the northeast of Brazil, and at the center of this world stood a man feared throughout the region, Virgulino Ferreira da Silva, better known as Lampião. His gang crossed the backlands of several states, fighting police forces, attacking farms, and challenging the power of the local coronels. It was within this group that José Leite received a new name, Jararaca. The nickname referred to a venomous snake from the backlands, fast, dangerous, and silent. Inside the gang, Jararaca gained a reputation as a brave and loyal man, but his journey in the Cangaço would be short, very short. On June 13th, 1927, Lampião made a bold decision to attack a large city. The target was Mossoró in the state of Rio Grande do Norte. It was a prosperous city, and Lampião believed he could dominate it. But something unexpected happened. The residents decided to resist. Armed men organized themselves. Barricades were built, and when the cangaceiros arrived, the city was ready. What Lampião believed would be a quick raid turned into a real battle. Gunshots echoed through the streets, and the gang was forced to retreat. During this escape, Jararaca'S fate changed forever. He was shot in the chest, badly wounded. He could not escape, and he was captured. Imprisoned in Mossoró, Jararaca became a symbol of the city's victory against Lampião's feared gang. Wounded, exhausted, and surrounded by soldiers, he knew he would probably never leave that place alive. For days, he remained under custody. No trial, no defense, no chance to escape. But the worst was yet to come. In the early hours of June 19th, 1927, soldiers removed Jararaca from the prison. His destination was São José's cemetery in Mossoró. When the car stopped in front of the cemetery, he realized what was happening. Facing the open grave, he reportedly said a phrase that would become legendary. "We weren't going to Natal. I knew you were bringing me here." Moments later, without trial, without mercy, Jararaca was executed. He was only 26 years old. His body was buried right there. No ceremony, no honor, no one imagining that his story was just beginning. As the years passed, something strange began to happen. People started visiting his grave. Some said they had received blessings. Others claimed miracles. Candles began to appear. Flowers, too. The news spread. The dead bandit was becoming something unexpected. For many, Jararaca had become a popular saint. Even today, on All Souls' Day, hundreds of people visit his grave, praying, asking for help, giving thanks or fulfilled promises. The story of Jararaca shows how the backlands can transform men into legends. He lived as a bandit, died as a prisoner, but he was remembered by the people in a completely different way. Today, in the silence of the cemetery in Mossoró, among burning candles and whispered prayers, the memory of Jararaca remains alive, because in the backlands, sometimes a bandit may die, but a legend never dies.